on page 170, and then open your vocabulary notebook to the baseball vocabulary words. Once you open up, we're adding to this list of baseball vocabulary words. Draw a squiggly line underneath number 7.
15. Wait, I'm on the wrong page.
This one's going to be number 8.
Yes, I know. So draw a squiggly line underneath number 7. Write today's date, which is September 25th, 2020. And then we're going to start with number 8 on the left of the pink line so that you can put this vocabulary word on the right of the pink line. So number 8 is the word career. Career. C-A-R-E-E-R. Career is a noun. It's a person, place, thing, or idea. In this case, it is a thing. A career is a noun. It's a thing. It's a person. Make sure that every single thing I write on the board, that includes punctuation, every single letter, everything, every capital, every lowercase is copied exactly as it is on the board. Do not forget punctuation. Do not capitalize things that I don't have capitalized. Do not make things that I have capital lowercase. So a career is a person's job or profession. A career, C-A-R-E-E-R, is a noun. It is a thing. And it is a person's job or profession. Victoria?
Aren't these vocabulary words that you want to write down on the
Yes.
little cards?
Yes. Kingston, do you have a question about how to spell a word? There's only 4 words, so Zadie, you'll have all of them tonight. So you'll do all of these. So make sure you are copying them. Capitalization, punctuation, correct spelling, everything. Neatest handwriting so that when you get home, you don't say, oh, I have no idea what I just wrote. Yes, Zadie.
Because of the glare, I know it's probably an F or is that a T? I can't tell.
An F. P-R-O-F-E-S-S-I-O-N. Okay, number 9 is the word orphanage. Number 9 is the word orphanage. O-R-P-H-A-N-A-G-E. Orphanage. It is another noun. In this case, a place. It is a place, and it is a home for children who don't have someone to take care of them. You don't really have these anymore. Orphanage. O-R-P-H-A-N-A-G-E. It is a noun, in this case a place, and it is a home for children who don't have someone to take care of them. Zadie, any words need spelled?
No.
Okay. Anybody else? Any words you need me to spell out loud? Okay, number 10 is the word accomplishments. A-C-C-O-M-P-L-I-S-H-M-E-N-T. Accomplishment. Make sure you have those 2 C's. There are 2 C's. It is A-C-C-O-M-P-L-I-S-H-M-E-N-T. Accomplishment. This is another noun. It is a thing. And it is something you have successfully, make sure you spell successfully right. There are 2 C's, 2 S's, 2 L's. Something you have successfully completed. So accomplishment, accomplishment, is a noun. It is a thing. It is something you have successfully completed. Yes, Michaela.
Since I already finished this page, can I just go to this page?
Yes, and you'll just start number 11 on the next page, or finish number 10 on the next page if you need to. Zadie, any words need spelled? Anybody else? Any words need spelled out loud? Okay. Last word, number 11, is the word disease. Disease. D-I-S-E-A-S-E. Sounds like Z, but it's not. Disease. It is another noun. It is a thing. And it is a specific illness. It means it's not just you're not feeling well. You have gone to the doctor and you have been diagnosed with a disease. D-I-S-E-A-S-E. It's a noun. It's a thing. It is a specific illness. Make sure you're spelling those words in the definitions correctly, as well as the vocabulary words and the part of speech. Yes, Colin, quickly.
All of them are nouns.
They are all nouns today. Zadie, need me to spell anything? Anybody else need me to spell anything? Okay. Once you're done with that, you can go ahead and put your vocabulary notebooks away. Zadie, I'm going to give you your 4 cards, but I'm going to give you 1 extra just in case.
What about
You don't have any. We only have 4 words, so Zadie can do them all. If there were more than 4, then I would split them. So just leave these out until the end of the day, or until later, then you can put them in your take-home folder. Your book should be open at page 170. And we're going to go ahead and read together. So first, Victoria, tell us the genre. Loud and slow. Oh, everybody face shields on, sorry. And Victoria, as soon as you have yours on, you may begin. Everybody make sure that you are following along. Louder. Chunk it. When you chunk, you need to cover up only pieces. You only leave one piece uncovered at a time. Don't do this when you are chunking. Don't do this. All, because then you have that first syllable that's confusing you. When you chunk, you only leave one syllable uncovered at a time. So we start with what, Victoria? How would you say that? All. Now I'm not going to leave all uncovered. I've already figured it out. So I'm going to cover it up, and then I'm going to uncover the next syllable. So I have all, man. Is there an E at the end? Is there an E at the end? So should that A be long, and should that C be soft? Usually when a C is soft, you'll see an E near it. There's no E, so that means that A is not long and that C is not soft. What does short A sound like? A. What does hard C sound like? So put ack. So we have all, man, ack. All man act. Now, if you're not sure what that is, what would you go do? You're like, I'm pretty sure it's all man act. But I don't know what it is. So what would you do, Victoria?
Go look in the dictionary.
Go look in a dictionary. Are you just going to move on without knowing what the word means? Because I'm pretty sure none of you know what this word means. It's almanac, but Victoria, I want you to read that sentence. Wait, you got to read the word. You can't skip the word. You're saying alamacs. That means you're saying A-L-A-M-A-C-S. Is that what it says?
Yeah, it has an S in it.
Well, but you just said alamacs, which would be spelled A-L-A-M-A-C-S. Is that how it's spelled? Now you're saying almacs. A-L-M-A-C-S. Is that what the word says? All man act. Almanacs. Nope, say the word again. Now, not knowing the word of almanacs, you can either use your context clues to figure it out, but sometimes you can't use your context clues. If you can't use context clues and you just skip it, is that sentence going to make any sense at all? Colin?
No.
No. And so are you going to have any understanding of what it said? Colin?
No.
No. So if you have a word and you cannot use your context clues to figure out what it is, what do you need to do? Michaela? Get a dictionary. Get a dictionary and look it up. Usually certain dictionaries will also tell you how to say it exactly. They'll have a pronunciation key. Victoria, are you able to use your context clues to figure out the meaning of that word? Yes. What do you think almanacs means? Based on the fact that you know it has brief information, facts, and figures about many different subjects. What do you think it is? Included in what? Included in what? What do you think an almanac is? It has facts, figures, all that kind of thing. So what do you think it is? What is an almanac? Nope. Who thinks they can use their context clues to figure out what an almanac is? Maybe you're just like, what do you think it is? Don't tell me it has blah, 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 blah. Well, yeah, that's what it has, but what is it? If you can't use your context clues, what should you do? Somebody go do it. We'll sit here until somebody go do it.
The children's one?
Thank you, Cullen. Children's, that's first. It's not going to be, sorry, it's not going to be in the spelling dictionary. Spelling dictionary has no definitions. Cullen's got it. If you don't have a dictionary, everyone should have a dictionary. I remember getting a dictionary for Christmas when I was in 2nd grade. Everybody should get a dictionary. What?
I don't have one.
Well, ask for one.
I have one, Miss Baldwin.
Okay, well, Cullen's already got it for us today. But if you don't have one, ask for one. If your birthday's coming up, ask for one for your birthday. Christmas is
My
soon.
birthday's already passed.
Ask for one. Zari, stop with the attitude. I wasn't even finished speaking and you just interrupted me with some attitude. That is not okay. Christmas is coming up. Ask for one for Christmas. Sometimes if you say you need it for school, your parents will say, okay, we're running errands. Or okay, I'll get one off of Amazon. I can get one for like $15 on Amazon. Just make sure it's a children's dictionary so that it's not really hard. Smith, yes.
I'm going to my grandparents' house this afternoon, so I'm sure I'll get one from there.
You can ask to borrow it. Now, how do you use it? You have to look at the guide words at the top. Here's the spelling of almanac. So you're looking for where A-L-M would come. So look at those guide words at the top. I think we're going to have a whole lesson on dictionaries one day soon. So you've got A-G-I to A-I-M. Is A-L-M going to be between those words? Nope. So keep going. A-I-R to A-L-E. A-L-M. Is that going to be between there? Nope. A-L-I to A-L-L. Nope. A-L-O to A-L-T.
Nope.
But is it going to be after that? Would A-L-M be after A-L-O?
Yes.
Where does M come in the alphabet? Before or after O? Who can help her? Does M come before or after O in the alphabet? Carla?
Wait, it's before.
Zara, you just missed what I just said. Because
It
you got up
comes
and took
in
your headphones
front
off.
of M.
What did say that again, Carla?
M comes in front of O.
So, would you go to the next page, Cullen, or would you go to the page before?
Before.
So we have A-L-L and A-L-O. Would A-L-M come before, after, or in between those two words? Before. Does M come before or after L?
After.
So, and does it come before or after O?
Yes.
Before or after O?
Before.
So that means it has to be between those two words. So that means you need to look at each word until you find it. What does it mean, Cullen? Loudly.
It is a noun, a book published once a year, contracting,
Not contracting.
containing set, cell,
There's no E. If there's no E, it's most likely not soft. It's hard. If there is no E after a C, it is most likely a hard C. Everybody should be listening, because even though you're not doing it, you need to listen for how to find it. Cal.
and duration,
What? That's only one syllable, and duration has 3. D.
dare,
D-A-R would be D-A-R. How would you say D-A-R? Who can help her? How would you say D-A-R? Zadie? Dar. So Cal and Dars. What does that sound like?
calendar,
Calendars. Sometimes when you're working in a dictionary, you might have to look those words up in the dictionary. If you are in the dictionary and you don't understand a word in the definition, you may use the internet. But only to get the words that are in the dictionary.
state,
Not state. Is there an E? To make that A long? So it would be,
state,
you're doing the same thing. A, that's state. That's long A, which means there'd be an E, but there is no E. So it's just
stat,
stat.
is, tick,
So stat is tick. Do you know a word that sounds like statistic? Does anybody know a word that kind of sounds like that? Statistic. You may not, but you may have to use the dictionary while you're looking up words in the dictionary. Victoria, you want to try? Statistics. Numbers. So it's a book with calendars, statistics, or numbers. What else?
and information on many different subjects.
So what is an almanac? It's a thing. It is a book. It's a book with brief information, facts, and figures about many different subjects. Before, we were like, what's an almanac? That's confusing. I have no idea. Now we know, oh, an almanac is a book that has these things. It is important to be looking up the meanings of words that you don't know while you're reading. Otherwise, it won't make sense. Okay. Victoria, keep reading. So this is an excerpt from an almanac. It's an excerpt from a book that has facts, information, figures, which are numbers or statistics, about different subjects. In this case, we're reading an excerpt that has baseball information. What text feature are we going to be looking at, Victoria?
A table presents a large amount of
Louder.
A table presents a large amount of information such as names and numbers in a
Compact is a synonym for small. If you had a dictionary, you'd be able to find that. You'd be able to know that.
compact way.
Good. So we're going to be looking at tables. There's a large amount. You use a table to show a large amount of information in an easier to read and follow way. Okay, Victoria, go ahead and start reading with the title and the author.
Baseball Greats by Liz Ray. Babe Ruth. Babe Ruth is one of the most famous ball players of all
Not ball players. What does that say?
baseball players of all time.
Because if we say ball players, well, that could be football, could be baseball, could be basketball, could be volleyball,
Softball.
softball, even soccer, somebody might think, because you play with a ball, or golf, or anything that uses a ball, water polo, whatever. But he wasn't just a ball player, he was a famous
Baseball.
baseball player. Keep going.
People called him the Sultan of
SWAT.
SWAT. And the home run king. Because he hit a record 714 home runs in his career. This reward,
Not this, and not reward.
that reward
It's not reward, there's no W. Record.
has since been broken. But Babe Ruth is still the only baseball player who has hit 3 home runs in a World Series game twice.
Good. So twice he's hit 3 home runs in 1 World Series game. Zari, please read next.
Babe Ruth learned to play baseball in the orphanage and reform school where he spent his childhood. He grew to pitch and play outfield from the Boston Red Sox.
Zari, go a little slower because it's not from, it's for the Boston Red Sox.
And was an outfielder from the New
Not
York
from.
Yankees.
Zari, not from.
And was an outfield for the New York Yankees. Ruth was one of the first 5 players elected to Baseball Hall of Fame.
Good, to the baseball. Guys, you've got to go slower so that you don't skip words. Even if you think it might not be a big deal, it can be. So make sure you never do it so that you don't do it when it really matters. Okay, so now we know Babe Ruth. We already knew he was famous because we've all heard of Babe Ruth, even though he was alive almost 100 years ago. No, he might have been alive 100 years. He was definitely alive 100 years ago because he was born in like the 1800s. So, but we all know who he is. So let's look. Yes, Kingston, quickly. I can't hear you at all. You've got to speak louder. Say it again. You've heard of him. You may not know who he is, but everybody's heard of Babe Ruth. Everybody has heard of Babe Ruth at least once in their life. Quickly, Victoria.
My mom and dad have probably went to a game with Babe Ruth.
I highly doubt that, because let's look at the table with facts and statistics about Babe Ruth. Was his actual name Babe Ruth?
No.
No. What was his name? Smith.
George Herman Ruth Jr.
How do you know that, Smith?
Because it says it on page 171.
It says full name, George Herman Ruth Jr. Victoria, when was he born?
He was born February 5th, 1895. My dad was born in 70.
Yeah. He was born in 1895. And Victoria, when did he die?
He died on August. Wait, do you want me to say the place where he died?
Just say everything it says after died.
August 16th, 1948 in New York, New York.
So he died in 1948. My parents weren't even born in 1948. So were your parents born in 1948? So have any of your parents ever seen Babe Ruth play? No.
He died on my mom's birthday.
But was your mom born yet?
No.
No, not even close.
No.
So, how did you know when he was born and died, Victoria?
It said the born and died.
So we have a column that has the title of the information that you're going to find in the next column. So we know the columns. The first column, remember columns go up and down. I don't have it on the board. I meant to do this. I forgot there was this one too. So the first column says this is the information you're going to find in the second column. We have the full name. So look at the first column. We have the full name, when he was born, when he died, the teams he played on, the how he batted and how he threw, how many games he played, how many runs he scored, how many runners he batted in, how many home runs he scored, and his batting average. And then if we go next on the row, we see the answer to that. He was born, if we follow the row, February 5th, 1895 in Baltimore, Maryland. He died August 16th, 1948 in New York, New York. What teams did he play for? What teams did he play for, Zadie? And when did he play for them?
Baltimore, Orleans,
Orioles,
Baltimore,
Baltimore.
Orioles, 1913.
What other teams?
Boston Red Sox, 1914 to 1919.
What does that dash mean between those 2 years? What does that dash mean? Zari?
That's from when he did it.
The dash means he started in the first year and he ended in the second year. Zadie, what other team did he play for? So we, instead of saying nothing, when we see that dash, we can say 2. We can start with from, say the first year, say 2 at the dash, then say the second year.
New York Yankees from 1920 to 1934.
And what was the last team he played for?
Boston Braves, 1935.
Ooh, do we know? We know another team. It's not the Boston Braves. What do we know of that's the Braves? Anybody know? Cullen?
The Cubs.
Well, the Boston Braves. There's a team called the Braves. We're not talking about the Cubs. I said there's another team called the Braves. Another baseball team called the Braves. Does anybody know it? Carla?
Atlanta.
Atlanta Braves. So what do you think that means? Do you think those are 2 different teams? Do you think those are 2 different teams? Carla?
No.
What do you think happened? That they were the Boston Braves, now they're the Atlanta Braves. What do you think happened, Carla?
They moved.
They moved. The team moved. We still see that happening today. That happened with an NFL team recently. I can't remember which one it was. I think it was I don't know. An NFL team moved recently from one place to another. Yes.
And also, my grandmother's mother went to one of Babe Ruth's games.
Maybe, because that probably was long enough ago. Okay, good. So that means, do all sports teams stay where they are?
No.
No, the Grizzlies that we know of used to be a team in Vancouver. That's why they're called the Grizzlies, because you actually find grizzly bears in and around Vancouver in Canada. That's why they're called that, because we don't find many bears, especially grizzly bears, in Memphis, Tennessee. But because they moved from a place where there were more grizzly bears, that's where they got their name, and now they're here. Okay, how did Babe Ruth bat and throw? Michaela, what does that mean? With what? So which, was he left or right-handed? Probably. If he did it with his left, if he batted and threw with his left hand, would he have been right-handed, do you think? So he probably would have been what? Right. Well, wait, you're saying. He batted and threw with his left hand. So would he also necessarily write with it? Would he write with his right hand? What would he probably use? Probably his left. Now, some people do it opposite. I know what time it is, so if you guys are trying to tell me what time it is, who is the teacher here?
You.
Me.
Miss Wallace.
I know what time it is. Okay, how many games did Babe Ruth play in? Victoria. 2,503 games.
That's a lot.
That's insane.
That's more than
How many runs did he score? That means how many times did he cross home plate? Smith.
2,174.
That's a lot.
Yes.
How many runners did he bat in? That means he was the one batting and this many people were able to cross home plate safely. Zadie.
2,213.
That's a lot.
Yes.
How many home runs did he score? That means he hit it, it went over the fence, nobody could catch it. He got to go all the way from batting to crossing home plate safely in one turn. Zari.
714.
714 times. That's a lot
Yes.
for a home run.
More than Haley.
Most baseball players may not even get a single home run.
Yeah.
It's like home run. It's like holes in one in golf. And his batting average. I'm not really sure how you calculate batting average. There's a lot that goes into it. But what was his batting average? Kingston. 0.342 because it's not really, well, I guess it is, but 0.342. And then we have one last little fact at the bottom of that table. What is that? What is the last piece of information that table is giving us? Smith.
Elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1936.
Okay, so we will finish this after our... We're going to continue where we left off, so you should be open to page 171. Feet under your desk, chair scooted in. And now let's look at the table on the bottom of page 171. We just looked at the table that taught us facts and statistics. Statistics are usually numbers that are assigned to something. We just looked at facts and statistics about Babe Ruth's life and career. So now we're going to look at another table about the top 10 home run hitters. So all tables almost always have a title. That tells you what you're going to find on that table. In this case, we're going to see the top 10 home run hitters. So we're definitely going to see who they are, and we're going to see some more information about them. So that's 10 people with information on different things that they have compacted or made smaller so that it fits onto one table. Well, let's look at the skill check. It says reading a table. Almanacs often have tables as well as charts, lists of facts, and other important information. So almanacs just give you lots of facts about things. In order to make sure that the almanac isn't 8,000 pages long, they use a lot of tables. Because then rather than having to write 1, 2, 3 full sentences for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 people, which would take up a lot of space, they're able to put all that information into one table. So, let's look at this. We have 1, 2, 3 columns. Each column gives us a different piece of information. Make sure you're paying attention. The first column gives us the name of the top 10 home run hitters. The second column tells us what? The second column tells us what? Smith?
How many home runs?
How many home runs they've scored. That means how many times did they get the ball that went so far and it was so hard to catch that they were able to get all the way from home where they batted around all 3 bases back to home and get a point. And then the third column tells us their what? Zadie?
They're right.
That means out of the top 10, how good are they? Are they number 1? Are they number 10? Or are they somewhere in between? Now the way we read this type of chart, where each column has a new piece of information, we read the rows. So we know this whole row is all about who? This whole row, this first row after the information, tells us about who, Michaela? Hank Aaron. Oh, we read that name the other day, didn't we?
Yes.
Hank Aaron is an example of a what? Carla?
Baseball player.
Well, a baseball player, but what is an example of that we learned the other day where we saw this? Cullen?
A proper noun.
A proper noun. That's appropriate that Cullen got picked because I think she was the one who had to decide, was Hank Aaron proper or common? Well, it's the name of a person, so it is proper. Michaela, how many home runs did Hank Aaron score?
755.
His rank is 1. What does that mean?
He's the first biggest player.
Is he the first person to score 755 home runs?
No, he's the least.
Kingston, what does that rank of number 1 mean? He's made the most. He's the best. If you are number 1 in a sport, it means you are the best. You have the highest number of whatever it is. In this case, Hank Aaron is the number 1 top home run hitter because he has scored the most home runs in his career. Now we have someone at number 10. Who's number 10? Who is number 10? Victoria?
Mike
Schmidt.
Smith.
Schmidt. That's how you would say that. Mike Schmidt. He's number 10 with how many home runs?
548.
548 home runs. Now he's number 10 on this list. Does that mean he's the worst home run hitter? Does that mean he's the worst home run hitter? Think about it. Zadie.
No.
No. He's number 10 on this list, but does this list include everybody in the world?
No.
No, this is only the top 10 people. There are billions of people in this world. This is the top 10. There's nobody between them. So that does not mean at all that he is the worst home run hitter. He is one of the best. He's just number 10 out of the top 10. But he is not the worst because everybody else in the entire world comes after Mike Schmidt. Let's look at this phrase at the bottom. It says current through 2004 season. What do you think that means? What do you think that means? Current through 2004 season. Zari, what do you think that means?
This is the list from 2004 season.
That means this is a list from 2004. So this is true up to 2004. It may have changed. I don't know if it has. It probably has. Because one of these people has probably moved up, which means somebody above them would have moved down.
And one died.
And, well, no, Babe Ruth was dead in 2004. Does that change the fact that they still made this many, so they're still way up there? Once one of these people, a lot of these people are dead. So they were already dead in 2004. But that doesn't change the fact that they made that Babe Ruth, who died in 1948, let's see, that is like 56 years before this, or something, 54 years before this, I think. That doesn't change the fact that he still scored 714, which is way more than Sammy Sosa, who wasn't even born yet when Babe Ruth died. Or he may have been born, but he was just a small child. So just because these people have died does not mean that they get taken off the list, because they still made all of those home runs. Now it does mean they can't move up, because none of these home runs get taken away. They stay there. But if you die, well, you can't move up, which means other people who are still alive could pass you. But most likely, with this many, Babe Ruth will always be in the top 10. He may not be number 2, just like he used to be number 1 until Hank Aaron hit that 715th home run. Then Hank Aaron was ahead. Some of these other people have probably gotten way more home runs since then, so they may have moved up, while other people may have moved down. So, just because somebody dies, do they get taken off this list? No, the only reason anybody would be taken off the list is that enough people have hit more home runs than them that they get pushed off. Because if there was some random person right here with like 546, well, once they hit that 549th, then they're going to become number 10, and Mike Schmidt is going to become number 11. Does everybody understand that? Unless Mike Schmidt hits more. But if he doesn't hit any more, and then somebody else comes in and hits 549, then they're going to move to number 10, and Mike Schmidt's going to move off the list. Yes? Yes, or if somebody beats Hank Aaron, well then everybody's going to move down 1. It probably won't happen and has not happened, but it could. So if somebody beats Hank Aaron, well then they're going to be number 1, and everybody else is going to be moved down 1. But that person has to beat everybody else in the meantime, because they're not automatically going to go from 547 home runs to 756. They're going to get 549 first, and then they're going to get 564. And then after a while, they're going to get 574. And then after which they'll be tied with Sammy Sosa. And then after a while, they're going to get 575. After a while, they're going to get 584. Then 587. Then 661. Then 704. Then 715. Then 756. So they still have to get all of those home runs. They can't just automatically go from here to here. They have to move up the list. With every home run, they can move higher and higher up the list. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn the page. And now we're going to read about Lou Gehrig. Lou Gehrig. Zadie, please read.
Lou Gehrig. Lou Gehrig's batting accomplishments.
There you go. Sometimes if you get a really long word like that and you see that it has a suffix like MENTS, if you cover it up, it just makes it less like, oh my gosh, I have this whole big word to read. Because if you cover up MENTS, what do you have, Zadie?
Accomplish.
Accomplish, which we know is a verb that means to complete a task. And then if we add MENTS at the end, then we don't just have accomplish, we have
Accomplishments.
accomplishment. But it's a lot easier to look at the word accomplish and read it and then add mints at the end than to try to be like accomplishments, which MENTS at the end of a verb turns it into a noun. Keep going.
Lou Gehrig's batting accomplishments earned him a place in the Baseball Hall of Fame. Fans loved him because he was so dedicated. Lou Gehrig played first base for the New York Yankees from 1923 until 1939. Gehrig set a record by playing in 2,130 straight games, even when he was sick or hurt.
Pause. That means he did not miss a single game scored 2,130 games. So even if he wasn't feeling well, or if he was injured, he still went and played for 2,130 straight games. It's like if you guys played soccer, you might have missed a practice here and there. You might have missed a game here and there. But Lou Gehrig did not miss a single game for 2,130 games. That's like, if you averaged it out in a year, that would be as if he played, like 70 games a day. Maybe 7 or 70 games a day for a year. It's a lot. 7 games for a day for a whole year. Yes.
When I was in a boot, I still played soccer.
That's like what Lou Gehrig did. Okay, keep going.
His record wasn't broken until 1995.
That means now somebody has played more than 2,130 straight games. I don't know who it was, but somebody has.
He also set records for the number of runs batted and Grand Slam home runs.
Now runs batted in, that felt confusing to read. He also set records for the number of runs batted in. That felt confusing to read, so your brain may have tried to fix that. But runs batted in is a baseball term for how many people have been able to run home when on your swing.
Yeah.
So that's why it's a baseball term that sounds confusing, because we're trying to say, wait, runs is a verb, batted is a verb, in is a preposition. So what are they trying to say here? But it's a baseball term. We see a lot of baseball terms in this passage. Why do you think that? Why do we see a lot of baseball terms in this passage? Okay, only person in this class, Zadie.
Because we're reading about baseball.
Because we're reading about baseball, and if we are reading about baseball, would it be very interesting or very baseball-like if there were no baseball terms? No. So we want to get in the mindset and understand baseball a little more, and to do that, the author has got to use baseball terms. Keep going.
When Gehrig quit baseball because of a rare disease, thousands of fans came to honor him. He thanked them, saying he was the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Good. So now on page 173, we see another table. What is this table about? Page 173. What is this table about? Kingston? About what or who? Facts and statistics about Lou Gehrig. Was Lou Gehrig his actual full name? What was his actual full name? Zari?
Henry Louis Gehrig.
Henry Louis Gehrig. Now, it's a lot easier to see where the Lou came from in Henry Louis Gehrig, because Lou is short for Louis, than where Babe came from in George Herman Ruth. Because Babe is not short for any of those, George or Herman or Ruth or Junior. But Lou is a nickname for Louis, so we can see where Lou Gehrig came from. Okay, so just like our other table, this table shows us the same information. What information does this table show? What information does this table show? Carla?
It shows when he was born and when he died.
When he was born and when he died. What else? Smith?
What team he played on?
What team he played on? What else? Zadie?
When he batted and threw.
What does that mean? What does it mean by what he batted and threw?
What hand?
What hand he used. Good. What else? Michaela?
Runs scored.
How many runs he scored? That means how many times did he cross home plate safely? What else? Zari?
His batting average.
His batting average. That's that math. They use statistics and math to solve that, and I'm not sure what exactly goes into it. Smith?
Runs batted in.
Runs batted in. That means how many players were able to cross home safely on his swing. And what else? One more thing. Well, two more things technically. Colin?
Games played.
How many games he played in. And what's the last bit of information that this table shows us? Carla?
Runs scored.
We already said that. Victoria?
Elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame in 1939.
So when he was elected to the Baseball Hall of Fame. Okay, well, let's figure out that information. It also tells us the full name. You guys are forgetting that. Why do you think you're forgetting that? Because it looks different, so you're skipping it. It's like the directions and those boxes with important information on your work. You're like, oh, that's not super important. I'll just skip it. I just need to get it done. So I'll skip reading the directions in this box because that means I get it done 5 minutes later. Don't skip things. So we see the full name. When did Henry Louis Gehrig, otherwise known as Lou Gehrig, when and where was he born? Kingston.
He was born on June 19, 1903 in New York City, New York.
Good. He was born June 19th, 1903 in New York, New York. And Kingston, when and where did he die?
He died on June 2nd, 1941 in Riverdale, New York.
He died on June 2nd, 1941 in Riverdale, New York. Who wants to figure out how old he was? Who thinks they can figure out how old he was? How do we do that first? Smith? How do we figure out how old he was?
We do 41 minus 3.
Well, we have to do the whole year because if he was born in 18 something, we'd have to do it. So what do we have to do? We have to say the year he
1941 minus
Well-
1903.
the year he did what?
Died.
Died minus what, Smith?
The year he was born.
The year he was born. So Smith, let's do it. 1 minus 3. Can we do it?
No.
So we have to go to the
Tens place.
and take how many away?
1.
So now we have,
3.
and we regroup that 110 as how many of what?
10 ones.
Which means we don't have 110 anymore. We have
11.
11. 11 minus 3. Can we do it?
Yes.
How much? Or what number is it?
8.
Then we move to the tens. 3 minus 0.
3.
Then we move to the hundreds. 9 minus 9.
0.
Then we move to the thousands. 1 minus 1.
0.
Do we need those 2 zeros at the beginning?
No.
So am I going to erase them? Am I going to just leave them because I don't feel like taking the time to erase and I want to get to the next one and finish this?
No.
What do I need to do?
Erase the zeros.
Erase. So Smith, how old was Lou Gehrig when he died?
38.
He wasn't very old. He was only 38 years old. That's because he had that very rare disease, which we name after him, Lou Gehrig's disease. That's not the official scientific name, but it is called that. It is not a good disease to have. Very good. Okay. What team did Lou Gehrig play for, and what years did he play for that team? Cullen.
The New York Yankees.
From?
From 1923 through 1939.
Good. What hand was his dominant hand when he batted and threw? Carla.
He used his left hand.
His left hand and arm. How many games did he play? Zari.
2,164.
Good. In those 2,164 games, how many runs did he score? How many times did he cross home plate safely? Victoria.
1,888.
How many runs batted in did he have? How many players were able to cross home safely on his swing? Michaela? 1,995. And what is his batting average? Carla?
0.340.
0.340. Now we would say that a different way, but I'm not exactly sure how we say RBIs or runs batted in. I'm sorry. Wait, no, that's not RBIs. I mean the batting average. I'm not sure how we say that. The batting average and the runs scored and the games played, I think all go into that number, but I'm not sure how. Okay, very good. Now you have independent practice to do. You can start it in like the 3 minutes before lunch. I'll pass it out. Girls at home, you can get it out. It has a table that you will read. Yes, Cullen.
Isn't another name for runs batted in a grand slam?
No, that would be a home run if the bases are loaded.
Oh.
A grand slam is a home run when the bases are loaded.
And Lou Gehrig died 1 year older than my mom.
Than your mom is now? Okay, so there's only one side, which should make this easy to figure out which one the front is. So your name, number, and date will go at the top. What you have is you have a table. Make sure you read this box with important information about what a table is. You're going to use this table to answer the questions below. You do not have to write incomplete sentences because you really don't have enough room for any of the questions. So use this table to answer these questions. This one is different from the one it's the same as the one we have on the board, where each column is a new piece of information. And so you read each row to figure out, okay, this whole first row is about Walter Johnson. This whole second row is about Christy Mathewson. The third row is about Sandy Koufax. The fourth row is about Lefty Grove. And the last row is about Cy Young. So use this table to answer these questions. Make sure that you're paying close attention and not just rushing through it to get finished and just putting down random things or not reading closely enough to see that it looks like you may have to put something here, but it's really something different. So you can go ahead and start that. Well, it's time for lunch. So go ahead, put this in return to school. But remember, you may work on it at any point today. It is not homework. It is independent practice. So at any point today when you have time, you can work on it. Just make sure that you're not rushing to finish before school ends so that you're putting wrong answers down just to hurry up.